everybody. Welcome to Fresno City Toastmasters. My name is Chanel. I'm the current club president. We are experiencing a blustery week in Fresno, which is quite lovely actually before the heat wave of 4 months of nonstop 100 degrees shows up. I'm going to start off by reading our mission statement. At Fresno City Toastmasters, we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. A couple of orders of business before we get to the agenda. Number one is that Pathways is still down for new members being able to log in and create a pathway. The original email that was sent out said May 9th, but now there's a banner at the top of the website that's saying that close is going to be extended until May 22nd. So we're not 100% sure what the exact date is. Unfortunately, that seems very long. I'm not sure why it takes them a month to do these things. I don't know, but just making everybody aware of that, since that is what is posted as the date. And then secondly, I wanted to just bring up, which most of us were in the board meeting yesterday, but one of the things that we are talking about as a board is finding a new, more permanent meeting location in person. We're super grateful to Mike Wu, who's been allowing us to use this facility, but we're looking for something that's in Fresno firstly, and then something that has some better air conditioning as we're heading into the hot summer months, because the swamp coolers here are just so. So I wanted to put that out there. If anybody knows of any locations, we're looking for something. There's a few criteria. So firstly, it has to be free. We cannot pay a monthly fee to meet somewhere. And then secondly, it needs to be somewhere that will allow us to meet every week. We're not interested in, I believe, as we've discussed, we're not interested in trading off locations, but we need somewhere consistent that we can go every week. And then also ideally somewhere with Wi-Fi connection, so that we don't have to pay a monthly fee for a hotspot or something like that. Those are the ideal requirements. So putting that out there to everybody. If you know of anything, feel free to ask or do some research on your own, or let us know about it, let me know about it, and I'll be happy to look into it as well.
Before you move on, Chanel, Mike Ellis just jumped in. Mike, Chanel just made an announcement. We're looking for a possible other place that is to meet, and it has to be in Fresno. We're looking for more of a Fresno, because when people find us, they search Fresno City Toastmasters, and then when we're meeting in Clovis, it can either deter people or whatever. So if you know of anybody, or you know of some places that we can meet, like Chanel said, that some of the big things is it has to have Wi-Fi access, just because we're doing this hybrid thing. So we got to be able to stream video. And what was some of the other, maybe climate control is probably another thing, because we have some options that are outdoors, but it's just not going to work when it's 105, 110 outside. And what was the other big one, Chanel? So Wi-Fi, climate control in Fresno.
Yeah, and free.
And free. Yeah. So, or minimal. I mean, if it's $5 or $10 or something like that, I don't know. Something minimal if worst case scenario, but yeah, free would be great. So just letting you know, Mike, if you got anybody or any, know of anybody.
I will keep my my ears open and my eyes to the ground for us.
You got it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. We are strongly now on the hunt for a good permanent home for Fresno City Toastmasters. And I believe that if enough of us are out there searching and knocking on doors, that there is somewhere that will work. So thank you all for that. We'll just address the agenda real quickly before we get on to our Toastmaster of the day to open up the meeting. I believe we don't have anybody down to the all counter, and it looks like Emerson is also not here, and he was down to be the evaluator of Ray's speech. So we'll need somebody to jump in and do that.
We can do a group thing for Ray. We could have one person and then we can all kind of chime in for him since he's going to be the only speech today. So up to you.
Yeah, I will volunteer to facilitate that group evaluation. And then can we have somebody volunteer to be all counter?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, Sarah, thank you, Sarah. Okay, so Sarah is all counter, and everybody else, just to confirm, is good with their roles on the agenda. Very good. With that, then, I would like to pass the podium over to our illustrious Toastmaster of the day, Danny.
Hi, everyone. Our topic today is motherhood and what an adventure that is. No matter what adventure you've prepared yourself for ahead, motherhood is times 10. And I'm going to include parenthood in this, not just motherhood, because we have some fathers in the audience, and you know what I'm talking about as well. This is how I describe motherhood. Suddenly, and I say suddenly, you have a person in front of you that you love so much that you can't imagine ever loving anything so much that you would give up everything for that person. That's the miracle of sacrificial love. It's overwhelming. Wouldn't you agree, Joey? It's overwhelming. I have a friend that described it like this. He said, if I'm walking down the street with my son, holding my son's hand, and a mean dog came up to us, he said I would sacrifice the dog really fast. Whereas if he didn't have his son with him, he would be afraid. When you're a parent, it's not one big sacrifice you make. It's a bunch of little ones. It's every day getting up and making them breakfast and taking them to school. And when they fall down, fixing them up and taking them to the doctor. And oh, this happened and oh, that happened. And oh, I can't believe he did this. It's a million sacrifices. And who would make the decision to do that ahead of time? I don't know. It's kind of crazy. But it is a miracle we get to experience when we decide to do parenthood. And the crazy thing about it is we have to, during that time that we're parents, we have to prepare ourselves to let it go at the end. That's tough. Every step of the way, parenthood is tough and it's amazing all the way. And we get to meet people that walk with us as we go. We make friends at school, we make friends everywhere, and we all realize that we're sacrificing. The miracle of sacrificial love. And those of you who are Christian know that that's our story. Parenthood. Thank you. Yes, I think we're going to introduce our general evaluator, who is Heather.
Thank you, Danny. So as a general evaluator today, I will be just introducing everybody and the roles that they have. So today I will start with our grammarian, who will be the word of the day, Miss Chanel, our president.
Thank you, Heather. I have the word of the day printed out here in person, and then after I finish explaining it, just give me a minute and I'll stick it into the chat for you guys. But the word is matriarch, which is appropriate for our topic of motherhood and our recent Mother's Day celebration on Sunday. Matriarch is a noun, and it means the female head of a family or tribal line, a woman who is the founder of a dominant member of a community or group, or more generally, it can be a venerable older woman. I jokingly, somewhat seriously referred to my mother as a matriarch of our family in the card that I gave to her on Sunday. So try to use this word. I will be keeping track of who can integrate it into conversation today. And Heather, how about you can go ahead and introduce the next member of the evaluation team, and I will. And I'll find that to put in the chat.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. The next person I'm going to introduce today is our all counter, Miss Sarah Dawson.
Thank you, Heather. Odd counter, one of the most favorite roles I think we have, other than table topics, and I get to do both today, so that's awesome. I love doing counter because it helps me realize to how many crutch words that we use as we're speaking. It helps us to take a time to pause and to take a breath before we say things. So this is not meant to be a criticism and point out flaws. It is meant as an opportunity for us to hear and to reflect and see what it is that we're doing and how we can improve our speeches, which is why we're all here. So thank you very much, Heather.
Thank you, Sarah. Absolutely. It's meant as an opportunity to grow, which I know I still have a lot ahead of me, but that's what we're here for, right? So the next person I'm going to introduce is someone that's doing double duty today, is our timer and Zoom master, Mr. Joey Myers.
Thank you, Heather. And great opening intro there, Denny. And one of the things, sacrifice of love, that you have to include is discipline. And we have a 6-year-old who thinks she's a matriarch already. And I have to tell her constantly that you are not the boss. You are not the boss. You are on the bottom of the totem pole, right above the dog. So we have to keep constantly reminding her that discipline's a good thing. And again, I'm preparing the way for that future husband of hers, that he's not going to have to do a ton of work by the time he gets her. She's nice and molded. We've got her, we're taking the steel and we're folding it over and hammering it down, putting it in the fire. I'm trying to do all that work for him. So that was one thing, Danny, that I would probably add there on the discipline side. So I'll be doing the timing. And Ray, you want to do this one 5 to 7 minutes? The normal icebreaker is 4 to 6. So you want to just treat this one as like speech number 2, and we'll do 5 to 7 minutes.
Yes, please.
Okay. So we'll do 5 to 7 minutes. So green on 5. Did you want me? Can you see when I do the green? Can you feel that on the screen, or do you want me to say green when I hit green? What's easier for you?
Are you going to use the green backgrounds?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's fine.
That'll work. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll do that 5 to 7, and then we have our table topics, which are 1 to 2, green at 1, yellow at 1.5, red at 2, and then our evaluation, which we'll just do a group. I don't know if I'll necessarily time that one, but maybe we'll keep everybody to 1 minute, 2 minutes, or something like that. Maybe 1 minute. So maybe I'll time that so we can go maybe 30 green, 45 yellow, and then 1 red. Maybe do something like that. So I'll do that, and then also the Zoom. So we'll zoom it in whenever we need to zoom in and make sure we get this party recorded. So back to you, Heather.
Thank you, Joey. And before I pass it back over to our Toastmaster for the day, Danny, I just would like to say a famous, or not exactly famous, but a well-known quote from a movie that I love, and hopefully you have all watched as well, from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, where the matriarch likes to tell the daughter that the patriarch may be the head, but the matriarch controls the neck and where it points. So I just think that, Joey, you're doing a wonderful job of preparing your daughter for her future husband and life. And we need some pretty strong matriarchs in this world to keep moving forward. So I'm going to pass it back to Denny, and just thank you so much.
Good. We have our speaker for today, who is Ray, and he's going to be giving his second speech today. Ray, take it away.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. So I want to paint the picture before presenting this speech. So this is an Employee of the Year award ceremony that I attended. Out of 50 nominees, I was selected to be the representative, the recipient of this award. This is at a banquet dinner. Over 400 agencies and employees are represented at this banquet dinner. Just with that said, I am going to go forward with it. Okay. So good evening, everyone. My name is Ronaldo, and as I explained to Rob Webster during our leadership and advocacy group training this week, all of my friends call me Ray, and I consider everyone here my friend. I would like to say what an honor and privilege it is for me to be receiving the Milton J. Samuelson Award with all of you. I'm still pinching myself because I don't believe this is really happening. My story is like many others, but as I've learned this week, my story must be told, as my story helps the community, and I'm all about helping the community. I was born with retinitis pigmentosa, RP for short. As we call, excuse me, as we call it. I married my high school sweetheart, and we have been together for over 14 years of our life. We have two wonderful children, Nathaniel, who is 3, and Estella, who is 1. I attended some college for a few years, but as my vision got worse, I needed to step away for a while and find some support. And what a support I found with Valley Center for the Blind in Fresno, California. VCB is always felt welcoming to me, and after completing my ILS and orientation and mobility training, I felt the need to give back. We have, 5 years and a half later, I've still been giving back. I began as a volunteer, helping at the front desk and assisting students in their own training. Well, quickly that led into an intern opportunity and then a full-time position as a programs assistant. Then I became an assistive technology instructor, which I love technology, and it's always been my passion. Afterwards, then the pandemic hit us all. And then a new opportunity became present for myself, which was an opportunity to open and start a call center for our agency to provide job opportunities to people that are visually impaired. Well, with 10 agents and 1 project started, led into 40 agents and 6 projects standing now. And this is just the beginning of many more to come. I want to thank the National Industries for the Blind. I would also like to thank my executive director, Shalina Heber, for believing in me. And I would also like to thank all of the staff at Valley Center for the Blind. Without everyone's support, I would not be here. And lastly, I would like to thank my beautiful wife for always being my supporter and always having my back. I'd like to end with a quote from my wife that has always motivated me. You are blind, not broken. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. That's fantastic.
Thank
I love listening to that. I'm imagining a whole room full of people. I'm waiting for the roar of the crowd to die down. Very good. I'm going to introduce our general evaluator, Chanel. Oh, we're going to go to table topic. Oh, Sarah, excuse me. Wait a minute. Let's see here. We have the privilege of having Sarah Dawson do our table topics today. She's one of the best table topic masters we've ever had. Almost the matriarch of table topics. Sarah.
Thank you so much, Denny. That was very enthusiastic. I have a lot to live up to. Thank you. Well, I do love table topics. It's really a great time to think of fun questions to ask people and sometimes deep questions to ask people. Table topics is a time where we get to think on the fly. Ray had a prepared speech that he got to deliver. Now we get to do the extemporaneous speaking time where you don't know the question. A lot of times we'll give 3 questions right at the beginning and people get to pick it, but I'm not going to do that today because where's the fun in that? We're going to challenge ourselves today and do something a little different. I have 8 different questions here, and when you volunteer, I will pick one that I think best suits you and that I would like to challenge you with. So whoever would like to go first, please stand up. Guests are always welcome. Oh, Heather.
I'll go first. I'm very curious as to what number or question you pick for me.
Well, since I saw you at the concert, I'm going to give you this one. Where did it go? What song comes to mind when you hear mother, mommy, or mama? Please sing it and tell us a little about the song you picked.
Immediately, You Are My Sunshine pops up into my head. My mom, we are not very good singers. We can admit that. But I remember growing up not really caring and still not caring, obviously, but just always asking her to sing a song for me or read me a bedtime story. And the song that she always chose was You Are My Sunshine. And the reason why that song not is only special to me because it was a song that my mom would sing, but because it's a part of my everyday life of just trying to be that sunshine, to be that light. It's that continuous reminder. And I'm thankful that my mom continuously reminded me, because there are some days where I don't feel like I'm shining very brightly. And yeah, it just always makes me think of my mom fondly. And I look forward to the day where I could be a mom and sing that to my children. I already practice with my nieces and nephews, but yeah, I look forward to being a mom myself and continuing that on. And hopefully she'll be a little sunshine for years to come.
Perfect. You didn't want to sing that one?
No, I'm not a good singer. Sorry.
Oh, I totally thought you would be.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away. There you go.
The debut.
That is much better than the one I had in my head. Mine was Mama, ooh. That's the one that came to mind when I was right with that question.
Or Danzig, mother.
That one. All right. Who would like to go next? I don't see any hands.
I'll go, Sarah.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, all right, Mike.
And then I'll go.
I beat you, Joey.
Let's see. What's a good one for you, Mike? Let's do, what traditions do you and your mother, or if you are a mother with your child, what traditions do you have with, well, you're not a mother, so what traditions do you have with your mother? Or did you have, if she's no longer with us?
Well, I'll share a, I don't think, I can't think off the top of my head a specific, say, tradition my mother and I, just her and I shared, but we do share something that every springtime reminds me of her because it's one of my favorite things in the world, and it's the orange blossoms. And
Mm.
so when the orange blossoms bloom for the week around here, I get to smell the sweet smell of orange blossoms, and reminds me of obviously my mother and that common love for the orange blossoms, and really great trips that we shared in childhood, and all the adventures we went on. So I will always enjoy that about my mom, and it's something special that I think her and I have a great deal of respect for Mother Nature, because she perfumes the air for that 1 week, and reminds us how amazing this world that we live on, and how good it can smell. So that's it.
That's awesome. Thank you, Mike, for sharing about the orange blossoms. That's really interesting that it's even just a smell that you get to have. So you can always have that to like trigger your memories too when you have an orange blossom. Great.
The olfactories are the strong are in charge of memory. Are the
Oh,
strongest indicators of memory. The smell is.
good to know.
So, yeah,
Huh.
just a little.
Cool. Who would like to the next challenge?
I'll do it, Sarah. Lay it on me.
All right, Joey. Let's see. Okay, so I'm assuming you've never been pregnant or given birth,
Mm-mm.
and as such, have you
Never
ever had to be a mother? And so tell us about that time.
will. All right. There are times there's masculine energy and there is feminine energy. And my wife will tell you I have quite a bit of masculine energy, but there are times when I have to tap in, and even males have feminine energy and females have masculine energy, and it's a mix. Some have more than others and cross and the whole thing. So my feminine energy is small, but sometimes I got to tap into it. And that is probably because of the 6-year-old I was saying, my 6-year-old daughter, as you can see, she's over here. I think she was around 2 or 3 there. And I think she's maybe 3 over here next to her brother, but she's 6 now. And part of with my son, it's easy with him because he listens and he's a rule follower, which can be a bad thing as well. But we try and get him to think along the lines of her, who is more of a fire first, aim second. He's more aim first, fire second. And for him, I can just tell him, hey, no, don't do that. Or, hey, do it this way or whatnot. And she'll just look at me and she'll wink, and she just doesn't listen sometimes. But I can't approach her the same way as I approach him. I have to have a little bit more feminine energy, a little bit more motherly energy, that little bit that I have in the tank that I can use whenever I need to. And I have to be a little bit more loving and a little bit more cuddly to her, versus my son, who is cuddly, but not so much with dad. He's more so with mom. But those are the times usually I got to take that little bit of motherly feminine energy and I got to direct it over here to this little thing right here.
Oh, you handled that challenge really well. Just adapt. Here we go. I was thinking like exchange student, or you had a role in a play or something, but
Pregnant woman in a play.
Did you ever play women in play?
No, I've never been in a play before. The only play I've been is on the baseball field. That's the only play I've ever been in.
Wow, I didn't know that. All right. All right, who's next?
Chanel.
Go Chanel, yay. All right, your question. I'm trying to decide which one I want to give you. Let's see, what are the important characteristics in a mother?
Well, I firstly wanted to say that when you asked the song question to Heather, the first thing that popped into my head was the song Moment Tried by Merle Haggard. Isn't super encouraging, but such a classic. I think that important characteristics in a mother. I think that it is important for a mother to be supportive and encouraging of what their child's strengths are. We all know that we are all individuals and we have some things that are natural strengths and other things that are natural weaknesses that may not come so easily or may not be the best. And I think that the role of a mother is an important one in helping to cultivate their child's confidence, telling them that they are capable, that they can achieve things that they put their mind to. And most importantly, that even if they fall or don't do things perfectly, that they will still be loved by their mother and accepted. I think that both parents, mother and father, have that unique opportunity to really set the stage for their children of what unconditional love is, as Denny was saying, that sacrificial love. And I think that when parents do that well, that their kids can really grow and thrive and have confidence, believe in themselves, be able to go ahead and accomplish the things that they want to. And then we've all seen when parents don't do that super well, it can be really hard for children to grow up and have healthy confidence in themselves. I think that my mother, as the matriarch of our family, has been a great encourager to me and somebody who I do believe loves me unconditionally. She's been an example for me in that, and I hope to be that to my own children as well someday. Thank you.
Oh. Denny, did you get one yet? And I think we have Denny and Ray. And do we have enough time for both of you? Yeah. All right. Who wants to go first, Ray or Denny?
I can go.
All right.
Just give me a softball one though.
Softball. Okay. All right.
No
Good
male
to know.
pregnancy ones. No male pregnancy ones.
Okay. What is something that your mother has said that you will never forget?
A lot of things my mother says that I will never forget, but one of the things is you're capable of doing anything no matter what, you know, as long as you try. My mother is someone, you know, is from Mexico, and she was a single mother for a while there, and she raised me with knowing I had a visual impairment, and she raised me with the understanding of no matter what you want to do in your life, you have to work for it. And she just says, even with your blindness, you're capable of doing anything. And she's been a great example of that. You know, she worked her way from, you know, moving us to California, working her way up from, you know, housekeeping to a leadership position on a hospital now. So she's a great example, and she's always encouraged me with those kind of words.
Awesome. Thank you, Ray. Those are very good words. So no. Cool. Was that softball enough?
Yes. Yes.
All right, good. All right, Denny, you ready?
Go.
She's ready for takeoff. All right. And let's see. I don't. Is your mom is still alive? Isn't she?
And living with me.
She's yeah.
Oh, that's
Live
right.
with her.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if anybody had it. So one of the questions I had on here is, if your mother is gone, what do you miss most? What's the one I haven't? I think. Did I get all the rest of them? All right. The last question is, for those who have been pregnant or given birth, what is something that makes the pain worth it to have brought someone into this world? Do you want me to repeat it?
Nope.
So what makes the pain worth it?
Yeah. I have 4 children. They were all born naturally. The first one was born at home and the other 3 in birth centers. And I can tell you that God makes us a certain way. By 6.5 months of pregnancy, you start getting a little worried about it. By 7 months, 8 months, it's genuine fear. By 9 months, you're so sick of being pregnant, you don't care what you have to go through to have that baby born. And if you were to ask any woman right after she has a baby, what about, when are you going to have another baby? They'll say, never. It's never going to happen. But here's how we're made, and this is what happens. You're walking along with your 2-year-old child who's screaming in the store. And you see a woman with a little tiny baby that just goes, eh, and you go, oh, that's the sweetest thing ever. I want one of those. And we do it again. That's how it happens. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. I can't say I've ever experienced that, but thank you for telling me. All right.
Even
Up
with
next-
that little cooing going on with that 2-year-old, I would not say I'd want another one for me, because for me, the pain, it's not physical pain, it's sleep deprivation pain. And I'm sure Ray can attest to that. I'd
Yes,
rather
and-
sleep.
And we have a friend that's in our household that is actually due anytime soon. So I'm going to know about that pretty shortly here.
Nice. All right. I think that,
Don't tell them, Joey.
all right. That concludes table topics. Thank you so much for everybody for the last minute, and it was a great job. I will hand it back over to Heather.
Very good. Okay, we're going over to our general evaluator. Is that right?
Yes.
Good. That would be Chanel.
Oh, it's Heather.
Heather. Hi, Heather. Thank you for being our general evaluator today. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Of course. Thank you, Denny, and thank you, Sarah. As a general evaluator, it's my role just to make sure that everything is running smoothly. Everybody is describing their job, keeping on track of that. And now at this point, I will be introducing everybody again to talk about how we did during this meeting. I'm going to have Chanel be last, so hopefully people could fit in those last kind of couple matriarch sentences in there. But first, I'm going to bring up Joey for our timer report.
Or Heather, maybe move it over to, did Chanel, was she going to spearhead the evaluation for Ray?
Oh, yes, I apologize.
That's all right.
Before all that, we are going to have Chanel be the evaluator for Ray's wonderful speech. So Chanel.
So since we're going to do kind of a group evaluation, I'll just say a couple of things and then open it up to anybody else who would like to comment or give constructive criticism. Ray, I really enjoyed your speech. Firstly, congratulations on being chosen for that award out of 50 people. That's really awesome and quite an honor. I was wondering, quick question, were you reading your speech or did you have it memorized?
So I was glancing at some of my notes. So yeah.
Okay. But you weren't reading it like verbatim, word for word?
No, I was trying to remember it.
Mhm.
Okay. Did you write it out first and then?
Yes. Yeah.
You wrote it out, memorized it word for word, and then.
Yeah.
And then,
I glanced at my notes. So one of the things that I looked at the icebreakers, the document that Joey shared with, is just to have those bullet points or the main talking points and that's what helps me keep structured for the most part. But there were some things that I remember from my previous speech that I wanted to include, and that's where I was stumbling on some of the things.
Yeah, and that's my tendency also. I think the first speeches that I started doing, I wrote them out word for word and then either read or semi-memorized and then was able to give it that way. I think that it seems like you're a good writer. You're good at communicating what you want to say in a way that sounds it's understandable, it's straightforward, it was inspiring, most definitely. I think that now the next step in communication will be adding in some of the other features of communication. So things like vocal variety, having some change in how quickly or slowly you speak, how loud and how soft, adding in some things like hand movements or gestures to accompany your speech. And I guess those are the main two things. So just things like that kind of can take the speech to the next level, I think will be a good place for you to go as you're continuing to work on your speaking. But I think content was good. Stories were good. It was really inspiring. I like that part of it a lot. I think that's my 2 cents. Does anybody else have anything you'd like to add? Joey, maybe?
Yeah, I can jump in. Yeah, piggybacking on what Chanel said, again, probably we're going to be piggybacking on each other. I felt like that speech had really good strength, good core to it. And generally, as a rule at Toastmasters, we say to structure your speech, it's tell them what you're going to tell them, which is your intro, basically. Tell them. Those are your maybe 3. So maybe you mentioned 3 bullet points in your intro. This is what I'm going to talk about: A, B, and C. And then you tell them. So then you have A, and then 1, 2, 3, B, 1, 2, 3, C, 1, 2, 3, right? You have your substance of those. And then at the end, you tell them what you just told them. So it's just a reverbatim as of the intro, but in the conclusion. So A, B, C, this is what we talked about. And I thought you did a pretty good job with that. The other thing I generally say to add in the beginning is a question, quote, or anecdote. And this is a type of speech where you're giving it in front of a pack of people is it all, everybody are blind in this crowd, or what's the type of audience?
So this type of audience, this is a federal event. So it's just at Washington, D.C. So this is over 150 agencies, representatives from CEOs to direct staff members to generals and military members as well.
Got it. So you have a mix of people with disability, and you have people that don't have disabilities and things like that, just kind of a mix.
Yes.
Yeah. So with the speech that you gave, the very, very important thing is your story. So anecdote, right? Question, quote, or anecdote. You can include all those, but one of them usually suffice in the beginning. People want to know where you've come from, if you're blind, how did you get blind? When did you get blind? That kind of thing. When did the disability happen? Or has it been since birth? Or, like in your case, it's been progressive over time, right? So that is a very interesting story and gives you credibility on what you're going to talk on, and that you love tech. Tech is another huge thing that my wife works at DSPS at Fresno City College. So she works with disabled students and helping them go from the school to career and things like that. And the big thing is tech. Like a lot of these students come in, some are blind, some are deaf, some have depression, and some have different issues outside of being blind or deaf, and they don't know about the technology help that they can get. And so that's very important information to have. So I like this speech. I think this is a good icebreaker too. You just have to maybe mix it a little bit. But the third speech, if you're going to take some of the feedback from here and apply it to that third one, I think you're going to knock it out of the park. But that's what I have to say. I think you did great. I think you did great, Ray.
Thank you.
All right, does anybody else have any comments, compliments, or constructive criticism? Denny?
I do.
Okay.
Hi, Ray.
Hello.
What I observed is that, and this is on the monitor, so I know this is a live event you're going to be speaking to, or is it going to be online?
It was a past event, so I already did give the speech, which actually I would love to share the video because they did record the video. So I'd love to share that and get some. So, but yes, it was a live, in person, which was amazing too. So, on stage with the spotlights and everything.
Wow. Okay, then I'll just comment this for future speeches. What I observed is that when you were doing table topics, it seems that you speak very naturally. You're looking you're looking right at me.
Mm-hmm.
And your eyes are right at me. Everything looks very, very natural.
Mm-hmm.
During your speech, it appeared to me that you were reading with your eyes. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is, or what you were looking at, or if you were thinking about something, like trying to remember. I don't know what caused that, but there was a noticeable difference to me, and I just wanted to point that out. When you're talking table topics where you're just coming up with it right there on the spot,
Off the cuff.
you're looking right at me.
Yes.
Off the cuff, yeah, you're smiling and laughing and obviously just enjoying yourself as you're speaking. And I love that natural look as you're delivering. That's my only comment. Everything, there is one other comment, which was thank yous can also be delivered right in the beginning of the speech.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's
Go
one
ahead,
of
Ray.
that's one of the biggest things for me is being able to have that eye contact, even though that I can't really see my audience.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I've been very aware of, and that's what I try to. At this point, I was a little nervous. That's why I was keep glancing back at my bullet point notes, and that's why it seemed like I was reading from that. And it's true because I was looking at my notes. During the event, I don't have the luxury of utilizing notes because of my vision. I just have the benefit today. I had my computer in front of me, so I was able to do that. But during the live events and when I do give speeches, normally it is just all in my head. I have to memorize it, but I appreciate that feedback.
I can see that when you're speaking that way, it comes across very naturally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good point, Denny.
Okay. Any other quick things? If not, we'll go ahead and move forward to the evaluation team so that we can end on time. All right, I will pass the podium then back over to Heather to call everybody up.
Thank you, Chanel and everybody. Again, Ray, wonderful speech. I loved it. So to wrap this up, I am going to pass this to our timer of the day. We'll start with Joey because you are double dutying, although there's not much of a report for Zoom Master, right? But timer, take it away.
All right, thanks, Heather. So I got Ray's speech, and he kind of gave a little context in the beginning, which was about 20 seconds or so. Came in at a total of 4 minutes, 56 seconds. So it was a shade under 5 with, again, a little bit extra added on for the context of it. But again, for that speech, when you gave it live, it probably was only going to be a 4 minute or 3 minute. We just said 5 to 7 are our general guidelines for speeches here. The first speech icebreaker will be 4 to 6. So that would have landed right in the middle of that. So that was good there. So good job, Ray. And then table topics, Chanel came in at 2:13, slightly over. She was the Joey of the day. I came in at 1:41, so I came in underneath. So we traded places probably. Denny, 1:45. Ray came in at 49 seconds, just a shade under 1. Heather came in at 1:06, and Mike came in at 1:06. And that is my report.
Thank you, Joey. I am now going to turn it over to Sarah as our all counter today.
Thank you, Heather. All counter. I'll just start with Chanel. You had 1 2 uhs, 1 so, 2 ands, and 2 kind ofs. Joey, I didn't catch anything today. But earlier I said that my 2 favorite roles are odd counter and table topics masters. It should not probably be done together again. It's distracting trying to pay attention to people and to their ahs and ums. So, and I'm just going to ignore that. Sorry, guys.
So I escaped.
Ray, I had you up next. Yeah, I'll say how many, but the ums and uhs. But I want to piggyback on what Denny had said, because Denny had talked about when you were natural in the table topics portion of it compared to the prepared speech. you had a lot less uhs and ums. So there's tons of uhs and ums, but there was much less when you were just doing natural. It didn't, you could tell, like, just like she said, you were smiling and having a good time and a little bit more relaxed, and that definitely cut down on it, on what there are the different, what do you call it, ums and uhs. There you go, crush words. That's the word I was looking for. Here we go. So crush words were a lot less during the natural portion, and then also maybe watch the repeating words, because a lot of times it was altogether, what usually more the uhs, but there was a lot of repeating words, so maybe be watching those in the future. But great job. It was just cool to hear what you had to say, and love that. And so I started exactly where you are, and we get better day by day. So awesome job. Heather, you had 2 ums, 5 uhs, 2 so's, and 2 yeah. Yeah. But great job. I do notice that we were just talking about that improvement, much better. And even in the beginning, there was a whole lot less. I noticed just towards the end when things were just coming back to you, that's when I heard them a little bit more. Too much thinking, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Denny, I also did not catch any for you. And Mike, so here's what I'm going to say is super impressive. You got rid of all the ums, and I only heard us today. So you keep getting better and better and better. I love hearing how all this improvement is going. So good job, everybody. And I will turn it back over to Heather.
Thank you, Sarah. Wonderful report. From here, I don't remember. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Grammarian report.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Back to Chanel for the grammarian report for the day.
Okay, I think I got everybody, but let me know if I'm missing you. Joey, you used it right away in describing your daughter. Charming stories. Heather, you used it in relation to the movie quote from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Denny, you used matriarch in introducing Sarah as the table topics master. I used it in my table topics. Did I miss Ray, Mike, or Sarah? Nope, we're good. All right, those 4. Good job, guys.
Great job, everybody. Now, I believe that's all the active reports for today. So I'm going to pass it to our Toastmaster for the day, Miss Denny Mason.
Do a general report, Heather.
Oh, generally, I do feel like this meeting was well executed. It seems to be a little bit longer than the typical meeting because we are at 1 o'clock right now. I know we need to wrap up, but overall, it was a great meeting, and I look forward to next week's. So back to Denny.
And then actually, Heather, at the end, the general evaluator can just pass it over to me.
Oh,
to close
passing it to Chanel.
Yes, thank you. And I will be quite concise. I'm good at this. So really the only thing we need to address is next week's meeting. Heather, I have you down to speak. Does that still work? Okay. I also have Monica down, and I am moving myself for the 3rd time, pushing myself back a week on my speech, but 3rd time is a charm. So I'm going to have it next week, guys. Mm-hmm. So with 3 people scheduled to speak, if we could get somebody to volunteer for Toastmaster and the evaluation positions at the very least, that would be good, since those things take additional preparation ahead of time.
I will take one of those 3, whichever you would like to put me. Do you have a preference? Evaluator? Okay.
Yeah, same for me.
You would like to?
I'll take the grammarian role.
Mike, you want to be Toastmaster?
I'll do Toastmaster.
Boom.
There we go. I like it.
He goes, "Can I be grammarian?" Chanel goes, "You can be Toastmaster." Did you see how it happened there, Mike, to you?
My mother groomed me. You know what I mean, Joey? My mother groomed me just to be okay, whatever
I know,
you say, I'll do it. I could do it. And,
I know you
Chanel is pushing me, so I appreciate that about it.
You
So
got
thank
it.
you.
You got it.
Okay, and then Joey, will you be here next week?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you want to jump on as a 3rd evaluator?
Sure.
assuming that we have all of the speeches, and then if we don't, I'll move you.
And then
And
keep me on Zoom if you want.
Yeah, thank you. And then Ray, are you going to be able to attend next week?
There's a lot of things going on at work. I have to touch bases to make sure that I will be able to be here next week.
Okay, that's fine. We'll leave you off, and then if you end up being able to be here, we can put you down for something that doesn't require a lot of preparation.
Yeah, maybe the word of the day.
See you, Sarah.
Bye, Sarah. All right. Good job today, everybody. I know that we are over time, so I'm gonna adjourn the meeting, let everybody go, and we'll see you next week.
All right, ladies
you,
and
everyone.
gents. Have a good week.
Bye.